This is the story of how I wrote Smooth.
Just like the ocean, the same as the emotion that I get from you. You got the kind of love that can be so smooth down. Give me your heart, make it real, or else forget about it.
Carlos Santana, Rob Thomas, Songwriter of the Year Grammy 1999, tied Michael Jackson for the most Grammys ever in 1 year. Big song, big album, and a turning point in my life. I got to tell you how it all started out. Okay, basically, at this time in my life, I had just written a really big song for Maxwell called Ascension, Don't Ever Wonder. It was a huge song. It still is a big song. Maxwell closes a lot of his shows with it. It's a big hit, soul music classic. Without going into too much detail, I already had that under my belt. I was working on a bunch of music at the time. I was working with a bunch of different artists, writing my own songs for me to sing. What I want to talk to you about is not only how I wrote this song, but how this idea, how the germ, basically the baby of the idea of Smooth came from. And it comes from life. It comes from living life. That's where the great ideas come from. It comes from living life and moving through life. At that time, I was going through a tough period of my life. I had a little breakup I was upset about. And I thought, the best way to get over a bad feeling is to start a band. And I had been in the studio all the time. I was living in this loft in Brooklyn. And I decided I'm going to start a band. And I started a band that's called Italatron. And it was me, Lucy Woodward on vocals, and Lisa Shaw on vocals. I had a revolving group of musicians. Basically, what happened was this band was a chance for me to get out there, perform my songs, get out in front of the live audience, and basically express myself. And it helped me get through a time that was a little tough, because getting in front of people, feeling the energy of people, responding to your music, singing and playing, it opens you up and it gets you in that vibe of just participating in life rather than staying alone in your house, in your studio, dark studio, just, feeling bad. During this time, I went to a show that was in New York. It was from Argentina. It was called De La Guarda. And De La Guarda was a acrobatic sort of Cirque du Soleil, extravagant production. It mixed circus, gymnastics, acrobat, crazy costumes, and it was a total trip, okay? I went to this, and I was so inspired that I wrote a song called De La Guarda. And this song went like this, okay? There was a part in this song that was the seed for Smooth. You see, if you're musically inclined, you can kind of see how that works. So I had that song, and we were playing all around. So during this time, Jerry Griffith, who is a legend in the music business, he discovered Whitney Houston, and he brought Whitney Houston to Clive Davis. Clive Davis is a mega legend in the music business. He basically said to me, at Arista Records, which was Clive Davis's record company at the time, they're looking to get some new songs for Santana. And I was like, really, Santana? And Santana has been around since the 60s. So I thought this was interesting. And I thought it was going to be one of those projects where, you write a song for a legend. Maybe it's not really popular, but it's something you can put on your lapel, like, hey, I wrote a song for Santana, right? So I took upon the challenge. And he said, they need it soon. I think they got all the songs on the album. They need this one more song. They're looking for a hit. Of course, they're always looking for a hit record. Everyone's looking for a hit record. So because I had the song that I wrote with Maxwell, Ascension, Don't Ever Wonder, to my credit, I was able to go to the office at Arista, sit down with the head of A&R, which was Pete Gambard. I got to listen to the whole album, okay? I heard the Everlast song. I heard the Dave Matthews song. I heard the Lauryn Hill song. I heard the all the songs.
Hey now,
And as I was listening to it, I got to understand what was missing. And that's kind of like all I did. And I realized that nobody was writing a song like old Santana. They were all trying to bring Santana into the future. And I said, there's no song that sounds like Black Magic Woman, Evil Ways, Oye Como Va.
Got a black magic woman. Got a black magic woman. I've got a black magic woman. Got me so blind I can't see. It will make you feel like a clown. This can't go on. Lord knows you got to change. Oye, ¿cómo va? El ritmo bueno pa' gozar. Hola. Oye, ¿cómo va? Mi ritmo bueno pa' gozar. Hola.
And I thought, well, I'm going to go back to old because everyone's doing new. I'm going to do the old. That was my inspiration. And also grew up listening to Santana. My older brother, who helped me a lot to discover music, loved playing Santana. And I had that Santana vibe in me. I love Latin music. I lived in Brazil. I have always loved Latin sounds. And so Latin rhythms are a big inspiration for me. Anyway, I remember I said, oh man, they need a song quick. So I gotta deliver. And that pressure, of course, makes your mind start to turn quick. And you're like, where's my ideas? So I remembered this song that I wrote, De La Guarda. I remembered that it had like this, and I thought to myself, that could be kind of like a Latin thing. Okay, so I said, that's kind of got that Santana vibe, right? So I was on the rooftop of some loft in my friend's place, and I had the guitar, and I was like, okay, that's it. So I went back to the studio, and I was in a studio at that time on Lafayette and Broome in Soho, New York. I started working on this song. I got some percussion. I used the MPC 60, which is over here. Used the MPC, actually time it was an MPC 3000. This is a 2000, but basically I used this to program the song. So basically I put the whole track together in a weekend. I wrote a song on top of it, verse and melody. So basically I put a whole song together, and this song was called Room 17. Like I said, this song was all made in one weekend, and I'm going to play you the original demo of Room 17, okay? Now, Room 17 was my lyrics and me singing. Now we're going to play a verse and a chorus of it, and you're going to hear it. The guitar intro of Smooth, which is iconic, is the guitar intro that was on my demo. You're going to see it's exactly the same. And even the beginning break. Check this out. that's what I gave them. And Pete heard it and he really liked it, but he said, I don't know about these lyrics. They're a little too sexy. It's not the vibe we're going for this record. We're going for more of a universal love kind of vibe. And so I said, that's cool. He said, can you give me an instrumental? So I gave him an instrumental. And then he called me a little bit later and he said, do you mind if I give the instrumental to Rob Thomas? Rob Thomas, lead singer and writer for Matchbox 20. I said, yeah, sure. And, I didn't know much about their music, but I knew they had some really good songs. So I said, sure, why not? Songwriting is all about that. You just don't know. You can collaborate with people you would never expect and something great can come. So anyway, he sends me a version of Rob Thomas's verses. So Rob took the instrumental and he wrote verses. All the lyrics and the melody in the verses are Rob's. And I heard it and I was like, wow, this is really cool. But he didn't have a chorus. During this time, he was writing the lyrics and the melody to the verses. I started thinking about the chorus based on the suggestions that Pete Gambarg said about subject matter. So I came up with this, give me the ocean, give me the moon, give me something hot to make my body move. And it would be like, give me the ocean, give me the moon, give me something hot to make my body move. Something like this I came up with. Oh, and then check this out. So then Pete he called me and he said, would you like to work with Rob? You live in Soho. And I said, yeah. He goes, well, he lives in Soho too. And I found out he lives 2 blocks away from me. So this was crazy. So he comes over. He said, hey man, let's do something. So I said, let's do it. So he came over, he put the verses down, and this guy is a great singer. I mean, one take and it sounds exactly. I mean, the guy sings it exactly how it sounds now, just on one take on the microphone. I was very impressed. I showed him my ideas for the Give Me the Ocean, Give Me the Moon. And so then we started to work on this chorus together, and we ended up with the chorus that everybody knows. As you can see, this is like our first demo.
Like 7 inches from the midday sun, I hear you whispering the words and melt everyone, but you stay so cool. My Moniquita, my Spanish Harlem Mona Lisa, you're my reason for a reason, step in my groove. If you said this life ain't good enough, I would give my world to lift you up. I could change my life to better suit your mood. Oh, you're so smooth. Give me something hot to make me move. Get my motor running, I can get to you. You got the kind of love that can be so smooth. Give me your heart, make it real, or else forget about it.
You can see that's a completely different chorus. You can tell by the lyrics, right? Now here's the second version of the demo.
'Cause you're so smooth. Yeah. Give me the ocean, give me the moon, give me just a moment, I can get to you. You got the kind of loving that can be so smooth. Yeah. Give me your heart, make it real, or else forget about it.
Now, we think that's pretty good. We send this to Pete Gambarg at Arista, and he says, yeah, I still don't really like it. And I said, wow, you're really picky about lyrics. And he said, yeah, I was an English major. And I said, okay, that's cool. Well, I mean, what do you think needs to be done? He said, I don't know, it just needs a little more poetic. So I said, at least he's given us good advice. He kind of knows where he's going. He's got a vision. So at this point, I remember me and Rob were kind of like, man, this is the last version we're doing for them. We're not doing any more of this. This is enough. This song is good. So finally, somehow we ended up with the lyrics, that are the ones that we know.
Better suit your mood, 'cause you're so smooth. It's just like an ocean under the moon. It's the same as the emotion that I get from you. You got the kind of loving that can be so smooth. Yeah. Give me your heart, make it real. Love is forbidden by it.
Okay, so there we go. So it starts off with the song De La Guarda, which is written almost 2 years before. The cool song, then that idea becomes a part of that song, just a little part of that song becomes the seed for Smooth. Then Smooth is not called Smooth, it's called Room 17. Then Room 17 turns into Smooth, and then there's 3 versions of Smooth chorus that have to be done. And also on the first version of Smooth with Rob Thomas, you can see in the pre-chorus, there's that, so take a chance, na, na, na. That's me singing on top of him. That was our little, I don't know, I think we were into Michael Jackson influence at that point right there. So, you know, there was a lot of changes for this song. And this is an example of how, you know, an idea can basically morph and morph and morph and just become better and better and better, especially when you've got very talented people working together. You know, Rob Thomas, I've worked with a lot of people. Rob Thomas is one of those people you work with in the studio that, you know, you got to be on your A game. He's very talented, and it inspires you to do much better than you would, because every time you have an equal or better opponent or collaborator, you know, it really inspires you to deliver. Okay. Finally, the song is done. Pete Gambark says, well, everybody in the office likes this song. Rob thought that maybe, and actually me and Rob, we both thought maybe someone like George Michael would be the perfect person to sing this song. Well, it ends up that somehow Rob becomes the singer of the song. And if I'm correct, I don't think Santana liked this song because he thought it might have sounded like old Santana or something. But because of Clive Davis, he convinced Santana to really love this song and to do this song. You know, thank God. The progression after that, where Rob went into the studio with Santana and his band, with Matt Serletic producing, and they took my demo, which is in A flat minor, and they made it in A minor, 1/2 step up in the key. My demo was at 113 BPM, and they did 115 beats per minute. My percussion breaks are still in the master. My beginning guitar solo, which is basically a theme at this point. It's a melody. It's not even a guitar solo. It's the intro guitar. It's a theme. It's a melody. They copied that. And that was me approximating Santana. And Santana, like me, trying to be Santana so much that he did it as Santana, which was amazing. The live version is really not that different from the demo, as you can see. So when the song was finally finished and recorded, I remember Pete Gambark telling me that everyone in the office loves it, especially all the women in the office really think it's a sexy groove. I was like, okay, this is cool. Let's see what happens. And just like Maxwell, because when I wrote that song, Ascension with Maxwell, at the time, you know, hip hop and R&B was really big, but Maxwell really wanted to embody that true soul kind of Marvin Gaye essence. When we wrote that song, I never thought it'd be really big because I thought people just didn't like that classic soul sound anymore and they were just into hip hop. But I was proven wrong. And this song here, it's late 90s, Backstreet Boys, hip hop. You know, I didn't think that people would want to hear a song with a great singer, great guitar player, great band, live. You know, I thought, no, it's over. And can you believe, even 25 years ago, I thought that it was all over in that way, and I was proven wrong. People do love real music. People do love real talent. And so the song ended up being released, and, you know, thank God Arista really pushed it. I mean, there was billboards and, you know, cardboard cutouts of Santana at Tower Records. It was everywhere. I mean, they really promoted it. There was this sort of movement at the time, a Latin explosion coming back. You had Ricky Martin doing Livin' La Vida Loca. You had Jennifer Lopez had a big album at the time, a bunch of stuff. It was like the perfect song at the perfect time. I remember it starting to get played on the radio, and I started buying Billboard magazine, which I never really bought before. And I started watching it, how it's climbing up the charts at 40, at 30, at 20. And, when it finally hit number one, and it stayed there for 13 weeks. I mean, I don't know. I was walking on the moon. Fast forward, it's nominated for all these Grammys. I'm nominated for Song of the Year as a songwriter. I remember being at the Grammys, sitting like 3 rows behind Santana. And we were up against some stiff competition for Song of the Year, including Livin' La Vida Loca. But we won. And I remember something that I always regret. I thanked a lot of people once I won the award, and it was on national TV. However, I failed to thank Pete Gambarg, the head of A&R, who was completely the engineer of this whole project, helped put this whole thing together, who gave me the chance. I remember calling him on the cell phone after the ceremony and apologizing profusely. I was so embarrassed, so shamed, and I'll say it to everyone, if it wasn't for Pete Gambarg, this would have never happened. But unfortunately, I was up there in the lights. Even though I had a piece of paper, I just went blank, and I missed out the most important detail.
Ital Schur and Rob Thomas.
Thank you, EMI. We'd like to thank everyone at Arista. I'd love to thank my best friend and the most beautiful person I know in my life. And I'd love to thank Mr. Carlos Santana for giving an opportunity to me like this. And I'd like to thank my band for loaning me out for a short period of time.
Thank you, thank you. I want to thank Santana for taking this song to the moon. I want to thank Rob for doing this with me. And I want to thank my family. I want to thank my great manager, Suzanne Hillary. I want to thank Warren Chappell, John Tito, Rick, Les, all my friends, everyone who made this song possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael Lippman, and everyone at Atlantic as well.
This day, they still hear this song all over. It's a great song. Honestly, it's a very original song, meaning that there really wasn't a way I could copy this song as a formula as a songwriter and keep reproducing this song like some, songwriter producers do. They get a formula and they kind of do it with a bunch of artists. This was a very unique song, a unique singer, a unique artist. It was real music, it wasn't something cheap. And to this day, people still love it. Even young people still love this song. It's lasted the test of time. And it's going to keep lasting the test of time because it's just a great song. It's a classic song. And for me, that's really my objective. I want to make music that lasts forever, okay? I'm not trying to make the latest, greatest, newest, most edgy song. I don't care. It's got to be good music. And I know that's subjective, but for me, it's something that can last the test of time. So what's the story? The story is you're in a pity party. You start a band. Start this band to help yourself get better, get out in front of people, perform, get your mojo running. You go see a show. This show inspires you. You write a song about this show. And then this song doesn't go anywhere. You play it in your band. Some people hear it, fine. But there's something about this song that sticks with you. You get an opportunity to write for a great artist. You take a piece of that song. You rework that song into something completely different. You give a song to the label. The label doesn't like your lyrics and your melody. You say, okay, fine. You take off your lyrics and melody and you give them the instrumental. They give it to someone else who writes a completely new verses. You get with that person. You write a completely new chorus together. The song is done finally after all these demos, all this journey. And for me, the real lesson is all your ideas are good. It doesn't mean that they're going to be finished. It doesn't mean, this is something I talk about in some of my other videos, whereby like the band ABBA, they would never record their ideas. They would just say, if we don't remember the idea the next day or the next day, it's not a good idea. But if you're really prolific like myself, you record a lot of your ideas. And at the time when I'm writing like De La Guarda, I love this song. I'm thinking this is a great song, but it doesn't really go anywhere in the sense of people hearing it or becoming famous or whatever. But for some reason, I decided to take it apart and rework it, and it turns into Smooth. And that would have never happened if I had stayed in my house at the time when I was feeling bad and not started that band. The whole trajectory is do something, change, because this change will bring another change, which will bring another change, which will bring another change. Ultimately, something good is going to come out of that. And that's the story of Smooth. It was a rough place that I was in, which ended up with a smooth song. And that's the story of Smooth.